seconds into the match. He hit him with a hard right, deep sprawl. He's got that neck. He's out.
I see.
He completely
that was amazing.
choked.
Listen to the crowd here at Stage AA. The crowd comes to life here because this is Dempsey who guard. He's probably more or less just using her as a ticket.
These bouts are approved and sanctioned by the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission. In the blue corner, 5'8", 145 with a record of 1-0. Ladies and gentlemen, Dylan Youngblood. In the red corner to my right, with a height of 5'9", weighing in at 146 pounds, a record of 1-0, fighting out of Stout Training in Pittsburgh, Vincent Meng.
On this side for me. Get on this side. There you go. Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the back. I expect you to obey them and me at all times. I expect a clean, fair fight. Any questions, red? Any questions, blue? Touch gloves, go back to your corners.
Well, we're getting set up here for our first fight of the night. Chip Snyder. We love Chip Snyder. He's the best referee in the business in our area, that's for certain.
If not the world, Chip is an awesome referee.
He's a phenomenal person and an excellent martial artist himself. And he's always so kind to do seminars and so forth and help younger fighters. But here we go. We got Dylan Youngblood and Vincent Meng going to town. Vincent landing a nice shot early and making his presence known quick, Rich.
He's doing a very good job keeping his distance with his kicks. With Stout Training, I'm sure he's very dominant on the ground also.
Well, it also helps to have a great training partner like Jonas Rubiano, who's fighting for a title in the next fight coming up. So a great group of guys down there, and they really mix up their game. Meng doing a really good job getting some cage control, tying up high on the body. I like how he's utilizing the knees there. In an amateur fight, you really got to take advantage of every different position because you're not allowed to do everything that the pros can. So when you are standing, you want to maximize those.
Well, Dylan did a very nice job of turning him around the corner and switching positions and getting his back against the cage.
There are a lot of amateur fighters that are upset about the Pennsylvania rules and go to other states because of that. But I think really safety's got to be first, small steps at a time.
I agree. I think the Athletic Commission wants fighters to have careers rather than
long, if they wish to have long-term careers. And I got to say, a lot of the fighters out of the Stout Training Henzo Gracie team, it's a very successful fight team over the years.
Yeah. Ming's doing an excellent job of cage control here. He's working knees. Those add up. It may look like they're just barely grazing. Very, very good job, Dylan Youngblood, stopping that takedown. It's going to be interesting to see now what he can do. Remember, there's no ground and pound here, so Youngblood cannot hit him in the head. He's just got to work the body and look for submissions. Ming very versed in submissions. He's not going to keep taking those hammer fists to the ribs. It's forcing his opponent up. Now let's see if Dylan's going to look for something in the transition here, maybe an armbar.
In this position, Meng really needs to try to back up a little bit, try to shoot for one leg, and just trap that leg and try to turn the corner.
Short time, gentlemen.
Once again, there you go. You hear the 10-second clicker. In these amateur bouts, they go rather fast, so you see a faster pace in these matches. Meng with a very late takedown, and that may just have won him and secured him that first round. Back and forth battle. I don't know, Dan, what do you see there as the casual fan? What are you seeing? Who do you think won that first round?
I wouldn't want to be a judge. I would go with slightly Meng, but again, I would not want to be a judge. And they look for different things than the fans do. There's subtle things they don't know the difference. And a lot of fans also might not realize the amateur fighters also have the shin guards. You won't see that during the pro fights.
Yeah, I'm really a big fan. You know, if you would have asked me 10 or 15 years ago my thoughts on the rules in Pennsylvania compared to other states, say Ohio, our neighbor, you know, going into full MMA with elbows and ground and pound and so forth on the ground, I probably would have said, I'm going to Ohio. But as I matured, not only as a person, but as a fighter, I realized something. These guys are working full-time jobs. They're training on this side.
As amateurs, yes.
They don't need to take this abuse to their body. It gives you the platform to build your skill, build your level, to take it to the next step where you can start making some resources
and
from
we're
it.
learning a lot about concussions as time goes on, especially in the last few years in other sports. And this, last thing we need is something fatal or you know, bad for the sport. So I agree with you. Earlier, it's like, I was in favor of it to be like the Ohio rules, but now
it makes a lot of sense. And you know, Pennsylvania regulates it very well. Well, we're here ready for round number 2. Meng comes out with a big right hand, lands it. Let's see if he's going to follow up. That really woke Youngblood up.
It's a Greco-Roman knuckle sandwich.
Meng's keeping himself very poised. I would expect him to go in, but it seemed Youngblood maybe slipped a little bit, recovered very fast.
Well, Ming's doing a nice job. He's utilizing those kicks very well. And I'm sure Mike Wilkins in Vincent Meng's corner was telling him, keep your distance, use your kicks.
Not that it matters much, but there is a slight difference in the gloves from amateur to professional MMA gloves, where the professionals are only 4 ounces, and amateur actually is 6 ounces. Was 2 ounces really going to make that much of a difference? Probably not that much, but Ming's really thrown some nice punches. I like how he's thrown 1-2s, and he's not just leaving it 1. He's changing levels. He's making Youngblood think. If Dylan wants to get this fight going, he's got to start pressing the pace and taking some chances.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I felt boxing gloves. These open finger gloves, they're a lot stiffer. They're harder. They're firmer. Boxing gloves feel more padded to me. Or correct me if I'm wrong, but the ones I felt, these are like being hit with knuckles. You know?
Yeah, especially with promotions. A lot of times they get newer gloves, and often there's also sometimes they get gloves that are worn in.
Yeah.
You know, so it all depends on which glove, the stiffer it is. I know fighters, they like a more worn-in glove.
Yeah. Right. Meng with another overhand right. He's dictating the pace. He's pushing Youngblood back. Meng has kind of seemed to go away from the kicking here a little bit and focusing on the striking. He seemed to find the rhythm, and he's got good head movement here. Youngblood's kind of hanging out. Looks like he's trying to pick his shot, but Meng ever so persistent, staying in the face of Youngblood. Youngblood wings another punch.
Ming's really pushing. He's really pushing the pace back and Dylan up, and that's going to win him the round.
Yeah, if it keeps it up, it's definitely going to win him the fight. I'd really like to see Youngblood change this up. Here's the 10-second clicker. Let's see what happens.
I think Dylan still rocked after that overhand right from the beginning of the round, just a little bit.
Yep, I love how Ming's starting to throw those kicks back in. Great job. Great job by Meng to control that. Youngblood throwing some good punches there, but you can see his face is paying the price of those strikes by Meng, and they're going to add up.
Now, in Dylan's corner, what would you be telling him right now to change the pace of this fight?
You know what? You've got to get more aggressive. You're letting Meng push you backwards. You've got to work lateral. You've got to step off, and you've got to make sure you catch him and wing him with something. Don't stay in his face, and if you do, push him back. Get that front teeth, get that kick to the body, and push Meng back and dictate the pace of this fight and counterpunch.
Seems to have been a lot of stand-up in this fight, though. There's not been a whole lot of ground game either.
Both seem to be content standing up, yeah.
Do you think Meng should do the same thing he just did last round?
It's working for you. You know, let's not get over-aggressive, though. Hey, it looks like you're up 2. If I'm in his corner, I'm saying, look, you definitely got the second round. There's a good chance you have that first one, but don't stay out here flat on your feet. Don't move backwards. Do what's working for you. Stay in his face and keep the hands going, because really, Youngblood hasn't had a counter.
You know, you never know. You never want to leave it in the hands of the judges, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. But I'm going to see Vincent Meng coming out pushing a pace just like last time. Dylan really needs to put the pressure on to win him this round.
And you know the amazing thing here, Meng only has one fight. It was a very close fight. A lot of people thought he may have lost the fight. Very close decision. I was there. He won that fight, and he's had a year layoff, had some problems getting some fights, but guess what? He's training every day with killers who are fighting. So don't let that record fool you. He is very, very seasoned in his young career.
That's not a situation where there's any cage rust, so to speak. Just because he hasn't fought a fight, he's still been fighting as though he had one coming up all the time. No cage rust on Meng.
Absolutely, exactly right. He's keeping all these guys in title contention ready constantly, so he's ready. Youngblood is doing something smart here. He's kind of controlling the pace of the fight, but if he's just trying to eke out one round, that could be dangerous. I think he really needs to get a little more aggressive and get this fight either to the ground and look for the submission or try to finish this fight.
He needs to look for a takedown at this point and trying to get on top, trying to get in dominant position to finish this last minute of the fight. Yeah. Remember, with amateur, it's only 2-minute rounds, so you don't have that much time.
Well, these guys at Renzo Gracie Pittsburgh are so good, and training under Stout with his extensive wrestling background to try to take one of these guys down and keep them on their back.
Easier said than done.
Exactly, Dan. You're exactly right.
Now, Vincent Meng, how important is it to use your head against the cage?
You know what, Rich, in training and getting on the technical side, if you can get your head under your opponent's shin, you have so much cage control. You keep it out of danger and you straighten your opponent up. It gives you a chance to change levels and get a takedown and work the body a lot more.
Take that foundation out.
Take it, exactly. Go down, take that out. Youngblood throwing some ill-fated kicks, not landing. Meng with a nice teep there.
Meng's doing a very nice job utilizing kicks.
Yep. Meng, throughout this fight, has controlled the
nice
pace.
Leg kick.
Nice chopping leg kick by Meng. 10 seconds left here in the first
nice
round.
Overhand right.
The first fight, of the last round of our amateur bout between Dylan Youngblood and Vincent Meng. And it's going the distance. Good matchup. Remember, these guys had a total of 2 fights, 1 each.
one each.
You know, so look, I mean, what an excellent fight. We're not used to seeing a lot of the techniques and the mixing up of strikes and punches to kicks. Normally that what we'd be seeing, Rich, on two fighters that only had one fight.
Thanks,
really good job by both guys.
Thanks,
when
buddy.
I look at MMA now, and I see a guy who's 1-0 and another guy who's 0-1, and they come in there and put on a performance like that, where they're not just gunslinging and taking wild strikes, but they're calculated, they're mixing up from high to low, punches to kicks, takedowns. I'm very impressed with MMA in the Pittsburgh area and the surrounding areas. And Gladiators of the Cage, you can find the absolute best amateurs with 0-1 and 1-0 records out there.
You can't say that was our first fight of the night.
Yeah, both putting on a great performance.
I mean, with
really
a show like that, it just shows you how much we got looking forward to.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
and it's all uphill, I think, from here. As the rounds get longer, the skill gets deeper. And man, we have 3 title fights this evening and 1 coming up after this decision here. And man, I can't wait. Also tonight, we have the return of UFC veteran Chris Dempsey, Rich.
Don't forget Gladiators of the Cage veteran, where he started.
Precisely. And he has flown that flag the whole way up the ranks. We're glad to have him back. What an ambassador for the sport.
He never forgot where he came from, and that's what I really, really like about him.
You know, there's a story behind every fight, and there's a story behind every fighter, Rich. And if you would get to know Chris Dempsey as a person, it's really a pleasure. He's a great human being. He's very, very well respected in his community, and he's very loyal and faithful to all those that he works with. And it's an absolute pleasure getting to work with him. We're glad to have him back, and we're going to see him rise again to the top very shortly. But he has a tough test in front of him tonight with 6-1 Adam Hunter. Let's go down to our judges and our ring announcer for the decision. Frank Murgy with our decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 judges score the fight 30-27. Our 3rd judge scores the fight 29-28. For winner by unanimous decision in the red corner, Vincent Meng. Going to turn it over to Dan Bogan.
Thank you, sir. Vince, you're on your way to start the Meng Dynasty. Congratulations. A lot of stand-up. Didn't take it to the ground too much. Is that how you planned it, sir?
Yeah, normally.
Okay, who do you want to thank? That stout training Henzo Gracie team is a dominant team. You got some people to thank, sir.
I gotta thank Mike Wilkins, my coaches, Warren Stout, Will Morrill, David Reese, all my training partners that helped me through and my wife, because I fought here a year ago on her birthday, and it's been almost a year since. So, thank her.
Congratulations to you, Vince. Back to you, Charlie and Rich.
What a way to start off the evening. A great fight. Meng obviously getting the unanimous decision. I didn't see it any other way, Rich. I don't know about you, but it seemed like the right call.
I completely agree. He pushed the pace. He used his kicks. He did very well. He stuffed takedowns, and he was able to take advantage of it.
Great. Let's go to our first break of the evening before we get into our second amateur title fight of the evening.